panel, Democratic Congresswoman Becca Balint of Vermont. View of the way that Patel was going to not just defend his role in the Charlie Kirk investigation, but then the other questions that lawmakers asked him, ranging from the hollowing out of the FBI to if he is enacting a sort of vengeance on his enemies list. And then, of course, to the Epstein files. When you see that his reaction is in some cases to be combative or to dodge answers on the question, how do you make this a productive hearing without falling into that trap, frankly?
That's really the challenge, is how do we make this a productive hearing so that we can get answers to questions that Americans have? And I think what we saw yesterday in the Senate hearing was that he had no interest in answering any questions, even from people who were being calm, were being respectful. He turned it around. He attacked them. He spewed data that had nothing to do with the question being answered. And I think he has forgotten that our job in Congress is to serve as a check to make sure that taxpayer dollars are being spent well at the FBI and that the FBI is keeping us safe. That is their charge. And to treat people as if we just doing our jobs are worthy of not just disrespect, but contempt is alarming. So it will be incredibly challenging to get the answers that we need.
I think it's going to be challenging, and I think that the preparation is likely that he will challenge all of you as you go through your questioning here. Is there a specific topic, to the extent that you're willing to preview it, that you're going to focus on today in the time that you have?
You know, part of what you have to do when you're a member of a committee with a high-profile witness like this or someone giving testimony is that you have to have several lines of questions that you can pursue. And so certainly, you know, at a top level, we have a lot of questions about what's going on with the Epstein files. We have a lot of questions what's going on with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, how that was handled, what he was doing at the time, why he was tweeting information that was erroneous. And more broadly, lots of questions about how the FBI is using its resources and where it's not using its resources. And so these are questions not only that we are entitled to ask, these are questions we are supposed to ask because, yes, he was hired by the president. He works for the American people. He wanted this job because he said he wants to keep people safe, right? He is all about transparency. But what we saw yesterday was not transparency at all. In fact, it was anything but transparency when he wouldn't answer a direct question, even when confronted with his own words.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really important reminder there when you talk about the role of oversight. This is not a hearing that was called in reaction to the Charlie Kirk assassination. This was on the books. It's meant to be a full view of the last 6+ months that he's had control of the FBI.
Absolutely. And just to remind folks, Democrats are not in charge of any of the committees right now. The person who called him in was Chairman Jordan. And this is what we do. And we're going to have the AG Pam Bondi in. You know, this is the role of Congress to make sure that we're doing oversight. And I think that you're not just going to see direct, pointed questions from my side of the aisle. Yeah. I think there are a lot of Republicans in the room that are also going to have questions, especially those who knew that he ran on, in trying to get this job. He said, if I were FBI director, I would release all the files. And so they have questions about that. They feel completely and totally let down and gaslit by that. So I bet there are going to be questions on that. And the fact that they, in the early days, certainly there was not a lot of confidence from the Republican side of the aisle in terms of how they were handling the Charlie Kirk assassination. And so I bet there will be questions on that as well.
Yeah, I think those are definitely two things that are going to come up. And look, we saw Senator Kennedy of the Republican side of the aisle asking him about Epstein. He wasn't doing it in a heated way, but he said to him at one point, I think you're going to need to do more on this issue of transparency. I don't think you're answering the questions that all of us rightly have. You know, in the backdrop of all of these hearings, whether it's with the former CDC director who's going to be testifying on the Senate side, whether it's now with Kash Patel, his second day on the Hill. In the background of all of this is the fact that this is your last week, technically in session before a government shutdown. Can you give us a lay of the land on where things stand? Because House Republicans yesterday put forward a continuing resolution that would fund the government until basically the end of November. Democrats have said that's not enough because you've laid out this metric of needing something on Affordable Care Act subsidies. Where's the off-ramp here? Where does this go next? Are we heading for a shutdown?
We may be, and it depends on what happens, certainly in the Senate as well. But look, what we've heard from our constituents over the August recess is that prices are too high. They're too high across the board. And the biggest concern for them in terms of costs is health insurance right now. And I was just saying to the driver who brought me to the studio, we don't have health care right now. We have sick care. And people are delaying care. They can't afford it. And health care took a huge hit in the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. When you take $900 million out of Medicaid, you're not just impacting individual people's health care, you're impacting the entire system. So this is something that we're going to fight for. We're going to fight against continuing cuts to health care. And so this isn't a game. And this is what we hear from so many of our voters back home, which is we need you to stand up for us, and specifically on health care. We can't afford it. It's killing us.
And I think Democrats have made it clear that that is their flag in the sand on this, and we'll see if there's actual negotiations that take place. But when you've got the president saying to Republicans, there's no need to work with Democrats on this, I think that becomes a really key example of the way that this is probably going to go forward. We're going to be watching it very closely because that day of government funding deadline just comes ever closer by the day. Democratic Congresswoman Becca Balint of Vermont.